Starting conversations that ends conversation.
Why is your wife divorcing you?
Better way of starting conversations that ends conversation.
Hello, and welcome to Tina and Karen to the Tube. I am Karen.
This is Tina.
All right. How you doing this week, Tina?
Oh, it's been a long week.
Oh, yeah? Been busy?
Oh yeah, at least 100 hours at work.
God damn. You don't get paid
You know-
overtime because you are the owner-operator, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I'm not the only one, but the other one was on vacation for a week, and it just happened to be during a very busy week too. So.
Vacation time. Is this normally a busy time for your business? I feel like this is the lull period, the low part.
You'd think so, but we got fans going to games now, and we're doing this new thing with hats where we're ordering 4,000 or 5,000 hats, and it
That's-
takes a lot of work to organize them and everything.
That's great. Oh, my goodness. I had a kind of a busy week, too. I went to Houston to visit my wife's family. The first time I got to meet really any of her family, which was nice. Well, I mean, I met her brother briefly.
Yeah. What was your impression of Houston?
I liked it. I thought it was really good. I mostly just spent time with her family. I didn't get a chance to see all the sites. We went to NASA. I got this.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. I got this. I don't know if that shows up. NASA.
Nice.
Yeah, I got this shot glass souvenir. That was a really cool thing. And how you and I went to the Air and Space Museum, the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
I might actually say that NASA Space Center in Houston actually trumps it. It's probably even better.
I would think so. I mean, because it's all about space.
Yeah.
They have all the equipment there. And
very
what
cool.
other impressions of Houston?
It's huge. It's so big. And I don't
Is
mean
it
I mean,
really spread out like Texas?
yeah, it's really such a sprawling city. Here's how big it is for you, so you know. You could spend an hour on the freeway with no traffic, and you're still in Houston.
Wow.
It's just this huge
Like
sprawling
within the
city.
city limits?
Yeah, within the city limits, you could spend almost an hour on the highways, no traffic jam, just going around just from one end to the other. Because, for instance, NASA is on the far southeast side of Houston, and my wife's family, where we were staying, was in the northwest side of Houston, so the
Okay.
exact opposite side of the city. It took us nearly over an hour to get to Houston, and there was to NASA, and there wasn't any traffic. It was just that big a city.
Holy moly.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
pretty big. So it's not. Oh, and there's this. This is an anecdote I wanted to point out. So one of the things I noticed when we were there. So you and I live in Washington State, right?
Yeah.
And gas is very expensive, right?
I think it's around 370 right now.
About $3.70. Yep. So we were driving by a gas station, and I just dropped my jaw, and I said, "Holy shit!" And I saw a gas station with gas prices for about $2.45. And my wife's cousin, who we were visiting, he says, "Yeah, I know, gas is getting pretty expensive right now." I was like, I'm about ready to punch him. I'm like, "Fuck you!"
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of the oil reserves are in Texas pay for that, right?
And we
Yeah,
also have the
subsidize
highest
that
gas
cost.
tax in the country.
Do
I think
we
second
really?
highest. I think actually California might be one, but we're the second highest gas tax. But it just blew my mind, it was just his comment also particularly annoyed me.
Yeah, it's high.
He's like, "Yeah, he's like, I know gas is pretty expensive right now," and apparently during the normal time of the year, it's only like $1.80 or something. It's fucking ridiculously low. That's why everyone
Yeah.
drives big trucks and SUVs there.
My last time was it Kentucky or Missouri on my last road trip last year. This time during the beginning of the pandemic, I think I saw gas for $1 a gallon. Damn. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that place was out of business though.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I didn't have any too big impressions on Houston. I mean, it was a bit muggy and hot and humid. That was
Okay.
to be expected. The grass was weird. It didn't look like Washington grass. It was thick blades. I just noticed
No.
that sort of thing, because lots of reasons.
Thick, sharp blades probably doesn't make for a good lawn mowing place. Did you see any remnants of like Hurricane Harvey at all?
I
Or
asked a lot of the locals about Harvey, and they told me about how bad it was. But I was mostly just most of my impressions of Houstonians and Texans were Uber, and I tried to talk with all of them. I hear a ringing in my ear. You hear that? It's only on my end though. And I asked them. That was like one of the big questions I had, and asked about Harvey, and they said how like the whole city, since it's all flat, the whole city was under like a foot of water.
yeah, flat and
Yeah.
full of concrete, right? Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
It was, and yeah, but a lot of the Uber drivers talking about how good it was for them. I guess I can't remember what.
During Hurricane Harvey?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. That was Harvey was the number one question I had on my mind, and also Deshaun Watson. I wanted to ask a lot of people about that.
Are there a lot of Texan fans? I guess I was wondering that too.
A few, but I like once again like so here's something I didn't know about Houston before I went. Houston is like 60-70% Latino.
Yeah, I can see that.
I didn't know that. I mean, it makes sense when you think about it now, but I just didn't expect it. So I don't know if they're a big football town. I mean, I talked with most of my interaction were with Venezuelans, with my wife's family, and they were more into baseball and soccer, particularly. I tried to talk football with them, but they weren't really into it.
Did you talk Astros with them at all, or Asterisks?
No, I talked with her cousin about. Actually, we hope to get him on the podcast. He wants to talk about entrepreneurship with us and maybe his personal history moving to this country.
Okay,
Which would be good.
I'd love to talk about entrepreneurship.
Yeah, that's because he's an entrepreneur. He's a small business owner, and you're a small business owner, so that's actually some common ground there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess last question. Would you say people from Houston had different opinions on different parts of Texas, or did they seem...
I asked about that. I specifically asked them what they thought about the other parts of Texas. And there are two stereotypes that are 100% true about Texans. One, they're very proud people. They really, really love being Texan. And two, they hate California.
They're starting to hate Californians.
Oh, the first Uber driver who picked me up, I asked him like, "What's something you don't like about Texas?" I just asked him all the basic questions. What do you like about it? What do you don't? And as soon as I asked, "What do you not like about Texas?" and he says, "Californians." He just straight up just said it. He said, "Austin used to be a really good city, but it's been overrun with Californians now." That's what he said.
California East.
Yeah. Well, that was his impression, and then like I got like that impression from like a few other Texan people who just do not like what Austin has become apparently. But
So Austin's very polarizing part of Texas right now.
yeah, it seems that way. I mean, no one had any opinions about Dallas or El Paso or San Antonio. I had a couple guys say San Antonio is kind of actually a nice city. And
I've heard that.
Yeah. And I had a couple people say that Austin is a good city. But I also had a few people who don't like it because of, like I said. So, two stereotypes that you've heard about Texans that are 100% true. Very proud and hate California.
It didn't seem like New Orleans at all, because I kind of see them as similar in that they're kind of close together and they're both along the Gulf there.
Weather-wise, it felt like New Orleans because as soon as we got outside the airport, it was like just
Swampy.
a wave of humidity in your face, and it was like unbelievable. Culturally, no. I feel like Houston... Once again, I have to state this very clear. When like 90% of my interaction was with Venezuelans.
Okay.
Like
On the outskirts of the city.
Yeah, but actually, I'm sure there's a lot of. I mean, like for instance, like we went to a chain restaurant, a Venezuelan food chain restaurant that they have in Texas, and in the that part of the country that we can't get here, and we had tons of Venezuelan food that you just can't get here, and it was all delicious. It was all amazing. I wish we had it here, really.
Okay.
So, for instance, there's only one Venezuelan restaurant in Seattle that we went to, and my wife was as very courteous and kind about it as possible, saying it's good, but it's not like what I expected. And then we went to this Venezuelan restaurant in Texas, and she's like, "This is what it's like. This is actual Venezuelan food." I'm like, "Okay, it's really good."
You can notice the difference too.
Oh my god, yeah, and not only that, but like her family gave us a bunch of food to take with us when we came back home. So my fridge is full of stuff. Plus, next time you and I hang out, I have a lot of Venezuelan rum you can try.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, like that
Okay,
was
probably easier to get down there.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if we can get it here, and I was sure to pack a whole suitcase worth of Venezuelan rum because it's delicious, and you know the kind of stuff I'm used to drinking just burns and it's bottom shelf crap.
Okay, you got the quality stuff now.
High quality stuff. Yeah, so I will definitely pour you a glass when you come next time we're hanging out. But
All
let's
right.
thank you for all the questions about Houston. I was happy to talk about it. But
Yeah,
let's
it
get
was-
into the headlines. So this is our first headline for the evening. Japanese man arrested after dating 35 women at the same time in the bid to get birthday presents. Initial thoughts?
You really have to date that many women for birthday? He doesn't get enough from his family? What? I don't know, like Japanese culture and birthdays. Do they do the American thing and they like gift people?
I don't. I'm assuming they get gifts. That's why he's doing this. But, I mean,
How old is he?
I don't know. Let's get into this. A Japanese man has been arrested after reportedly dating more than 35 women at the same time. That is not against the law.
That guy looks like a Japanese David Bowie.
Jesus Christ, he does actually. Good point. The hair.
Yeah.
All right. Takashi Miyagawa, a part-time worker, doesn't say where, is being investigated for allegedly defrauding dozens of women by pretending he was serious about each of their relationships and receiving hundreds of pounds worth of gifts. Why did they measure the gifts in pounds?
Yeah,
So
I thought they would do it in the kilograms.
I would say, I was gonna say more in like dollar amount. Like, who measures gifts in pounds?
I don't know.
That's a weird thing to say, isn't it?
Hundreds of pounds? That seems like a lot of space that would take up.
Seems like it would take up a lot of space. Yep. I don't know. It's something about the way they weigh your gifts. Like, do you do that on Christmas morning? And it's just like, hey, say, Dad, I know you spent a lot of money on these nice gifts, but there's only 100 pounds worth of gifts here. What the hell?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem right.
It seems kind of cheap, Dad.
Yeah, it just seems cheap because it's 100 pounds of, I don't know, meat. I'd take 100 pounds of meat, actually.
That would be a lot of meat.
Oh, thank God. Yeah? Depends on what kind of meat, though.
Thanks for all the meat, but I have no freezer to store all this.
I want a deep freeze, I do. He was apparently caught out when the women joined forces to create a victims association. This sounds way too intricate. This is Japan for you. After discovering his extensive infidelity and reporting him to the police, according to local media. Is it against the law to date a bunch of women at one time?
No,
Apparently.
I don't think so. Not in America. Like,
But it is fraud.
is it fraud?
Could it be fraud? Could it be that it was strictly to get a bunch of gifts? Like, how long did he have to be dating these women to the point where they wanted to give him gifts on his birthday? Like, you don't just give a gift to someone like one date. Hey, by the way, this Saturday's my birthday. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Get
I remember when one of my friends started dating their current girlfriend, and they got them a gift. They had only been dating for like a month, maybe less, officially, and got them a Christmas gift, and she didn't get one back or give him one back. She felt a little guilty about that, but I mean, at what point is it acceptable to give gifts? Maybe like
I was going to ask you
3 months.
what. Yeah, when does a short-term relationship become a long-term relationship? Because I feel like birthday and Christmas gifts are exclusive to long-term relationships.
Yeah, I would say like if you go on more than five dates, probably you're kind of at least more, maybe not like an official couple, but at least you're an an item, I guess, or itemized.
This guy was going out with 35 different
And
women.
where does he have the time?
I know. I mean, 35
Maybe
different...
that's why he's a part-time worker.
Let's think about this. 35 women. You're dating 35 women, and let's say a date takes a full night.
Okay.
You're only seeing these women like at most once a month. I mean, or is he spreading? Does he have a job? I guess it says that he's a part-time worker right here, but
Yeah.
I mean, so he saves the
That
rest.
could mean anything.
It could mean anything. It could just mean he's a part-time worker and he's a full-time lover. All right.
A very full-time lover.
Among the claims is that he gave each woman a different date for his birthday, ensuring a constant stream of gifts throughout the year. Oh, he may have lied about his birthday. That makes more sense.
Interesting.
One 47-year-old woman reportedly thought his birthday was on February 22nd, and another aged 40 was told it was July, while another 35-old believed he was born in April. In total, he alleged he received over 100,000 yen, or 668 pounds. Don't know why it's Yahoo. That's American. I don't know why it's fucking measured in pounds. Worth of gifts from the women, including a $200 suit. In the grand scheme of things, if you measure 35 girlfriends and you get $668, how much extortion is that? Really? Is it?
I mean, it seems
$20?
like he would have spent that much on all the dinners, right? Unless they were paying for that too.
Actually, that's a good point. Exactly. He's a part-time worker, though.
Yeah. He looks fairly young, but he's also Asian, so I can't tell.
Exactly. Asians are ageless.
He does look like he was kind of dating older women, though.
These women are...
It was from 47 to 40 to 35.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, but...
It's almost like he was kind of like a sugar baby.
At a certain point, are you asking for it? Like, do you think that some of these older women are desperate?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, they're obviously financially stable if they're able to give him gifts. 35 women, wow.
This is 35 women.
Do you think a younger woman would be more apt to give a gift than an older woman?
Ooh.
Or vice versa?
No, I think it might be an older woman who's more gift giving. She's probably
Yeah,
further along in her career, so she has more money.
Mm-hmm.
A younger woman, maybe, I don't know, something about... Live? Really? The story elicited mixed responses online, with one reader commenting that he's an awful person, but I envy his time management skills, according to Sora News 24. I swear to God, that's true.
Well, yeah, and the fact that he didn't mix up some of the women, too. Like, how did he get caught?
I know, especially with Asians. You thought it. I said it, but you thought it.
I actually didn't, but I see it.
You're just as bad as I am. All right. But that is impressive, though. But because 35 women. I was just talking about, like, a regular date typically takes up a whole night.
You would probably go on one date a week, right? Maybe once every week and a half.
Well, if you're a part-time worker, though, you have every night free. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Moving on.
Okay.
I got nothing else. So, plus we kind of got to move a little faster than usual because we spent a little time talking about Texas and Houston, which I was happy to do, actually.
It's all good.
There was a lot of
This
talk.
guy.
There was a lot of talk between me and my wife of whether we one day move to Texas.
Oh.
Because here's the thing, in Houston, even all the gringos speak Spanish.
So you think you'd have to improve your Spanish a little bit?
Definitely. Absolutely.
Okay.
I practice I practice every day, but I mean, I need to improve a lot. When I was talking with a lot of them, it was Spanglish. They knew a little bit of English, I knew a little bit of Spanish, but we were able to communicate. And I liked them a lot. We had a big backyard barbecue basically, and it was a lot of fun. No.
Do you think you would move to like near the Houston area, or would you go to maybe more Dallas, San Antonio?
I don't know. I haven't ever thought about moving to Texas. Texas has not been one of the states I've ever thought about moving to. But here's the thing about I don't like the hot weather, so maybe Dallas would be better. Houston just seems too muggy. But
You might have a nice cold snap once a year.
yeah, but I mean, Venezuelan food is worth like maybe enduring a little muggy weather. Let's put it that way. It's really good.
There's always a trade-off, right?
Patagones was good. The Tequeños were amazing. We have a freezer full of them, and
Still?
oh yeah, we took a lot, and like we decided since we can't get them here in Washington, we got to save them for special occasions. All right, but here we go. Drunk teacher who took pupils to strip club banned from teaching. The nerve.
Wow.
got his picture here,
I'm guessing
too.
high school. I can't imagine they'd let anyone younger than 18 in a strip club, right?
I hope not. An IT teacher who threatened pupils and took some to a strip club while he was drunk during a school trip has been banned from teaching for 3 years. Just 3 years,
Only
huh?
3 years?
Yeah, I know. It must be more than high school though, because you can't imagine if like these kids are like 15 or lower that they'd be okay. Yeah, the punishment doesn't need to be that excessive.
Is this in America, or it looks like it might be in Britain?
What
Based
do you
on the
fucking
two.
mean about that? I know exactly what you mean by that. This guy fucking does look British, so I'm not going to put it past him.
Yeah.
All right, Richard Glenn was working at the IT faculty at Long Ridge Tower School in Northumberland.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably fucking definitely. BBC, this is British. You're fucking right. Northumberland when the trip took place in July in 2019. His behavior seemed to be so unacceptable that he was sent home early from the trip. The teaching regulation agency heard Glenn, 55, admitted to gross misconduct and was sacked from his job in August 2019, the BBC reported.
I like how they say his behavior seemed so unacceptable.
Well,
Maybe he was an anatomy teacher.
What are your overall thoughts on strip clubs?
I mean, I've been to a few. We've been to once or twice.
Twice. But the first time we were so drunk, I don't know if it counts.
True. I don't know. I don't really enjoy it. I think I'd enjoy it more if I could like eat and drink.
Yeah,
and in Washington.
Yeah. So for any of our listeners in Finland, Washington has a strict no alcohol in the strip clubs policy. It's kind of silly. That's why I think it is why Portland is probably the stripper capital of the world, because I don't know how common that law is across states. But yeah, so it can be.
I want to say, I feel like we're not the norm.
I would say we're not the norm. I feel like that way.
Yeah.
But
Eh.
because of it, I think a lot of people go to Portland for their strip clubs.
Solely for that.
No, I mean I'm not even joking. Portland, Oregon is the stripper capital of the world. There's more strippers
I've heard
there.
Montreal.
Montreal.
Better, yeah.
Well, not better. I'm talking like per capita, like the amount of strippers per the population.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. I mean, there's a ton of people there, so.
Right. But
It's
you're
almost like you have to do your time if you grew up in Portland. You
But I-
gotta.
you
You're
gotta.
conscripted into the.
God damn it. But your overall thoughts about them or feelings? Positive, negative, neutral?
Like I said, I think I'd enjoy them more if I could just kind of casually eat and drink there and not, just have to sit there and just watch and with my friends.
That can get awkward, I guess. My impression of them is I found them hollow.
Mm.
Yeah, for anyone who
How
enjoys that,
so?
it's so fake. You know it's fake.
Okay.
The women there are being paid to flirt and be um, very seductive and positive towards their clientele, but they don't. You don't know. It doesn't. I know it's fake, so therefore it doesn't. It's not genuine.
Yeah, because you're kind of, I mean, you're paying to be there, and they're, have to make their money. It doesn't seem so genuine.
Yeah, and I don't know how many strippers are actually happy about being strippers. If I knew that more strippers were into it, like they wanted to be that way, it might make it
Hmm.
a little better. But for the most part, it just seems like sad to me.
Okay, so we should
Yeah.
have like a stripping school that you have to attend before
No, I didn't say that. I just
to
something.
gauge their level of interest.
The whole strip club thing doesn't work for me. I'm not interested in it. Um, just nothing about it like, appeals to me. I've only been there twice, both times with you. And
Yeah,
one time was in New Orleans because we were so drunk and we didn't care. And what was it like? The thing I remember most about that experience
the
was knowing
drinks.
$7 for a Bud Light and you had to buy two. God damn, that's what I complained about. I remember that only. For a
Yeah,
guy.
I don't remember much else other than the cost of the drinks too.
Yeah, that's all I remember from that night was basically just like I remember that was the first time that either I don't know about you, but it was the first time I had gone to one, and I was just doing it because we're in New Orleans and it's a party place, and all I could remember is I'm paying $7 for a Bud Light. So that says something, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe I'd been to a strip club maybe once before, or maybe that was my first time. I've been to some. I've been to the strip club at least 2 to 4 times afterwards. I had a friend bring one back once or twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never met them, but I've heard stories.
You've had friends who actually brought them home after.
One at least.
Really?
One very adamant friend.
What's the key to
You
enticing them?
money.
Is that it? Oh my god! I thought there was certain like he had like a silver tongue or something. He's really
Nope.
good at communicating, not what you thought.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know if I really want to continue with this story. I'm actually curious about this conversation because I
No,
went.
let's hear more about this guy. I want to
Sure
know
thing.
why he took them.
Richard Glenn was working in the IT faculty at No, I already read that part. According to the BBC, his actions included drinking with pupils, allowing under 18-year-olds to drink alcohol, threatening to kick the head in of one student and kill another, taking one more pupil. This guy was banned for only 3 years. Kick the head in and one student and kill another, taking one more pupil to a strip club and acting aggressively to the women leading the trip. To the woman leading the trip? What?
I guess. Wait, a woman was leading the trip?
To a strip club.
What? What?
On top of this, Glenn was aggressive to a pupil before kissing one of the boys on the forehead and telling him, "You're all right." That can be read in a number of ways. And exposing himself to a woman. This guy banned for 3 years. This must have been one hell of a teacher, I must say. God damn.
We still want you back after 3 years, but you went a little too far this time.
Yeah, when you threatened to kill the kid and you exposed yourself, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. But hey, you got a B plus average.
What is the drinking age in Britain?
18.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was allowing minors to drink. I guess you can go into a strip club and as a minor and
If you have an adult sponsor,
yes,
a chaperone. Imagine that you take it like your 12-year-old son. He's like, hey, he's with me. God,
It's a rite of passage.
it's a rite of passage. Kissing one boy. You're all right. And exposing himself to a woman. Jesus Christ. The panel concluded he put pupils in his care at risk during an alcohol-fueled night on
That was more of the problem.
I don't know. The panel reported read, Mr. Glenn was at various times during the school trip under the influence of alcohol and therefore not in a position to adequately take decisions or act in loco parentis should the need arise. What the fuck is loco parentis?
Crazy and acting loco. I mean, obviously is
Crazy.
in the
that's
place of a parent.
Spanish.
Okay.
I'm not using gato, you parentis. The term loco parentis, Latin for in place of a parent. Okay, you're the official guardian of a trip, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I read loco as crazy. Crazy
Yeah,
parent.
yeah, I did too.
That's
Like,
how I
huh?
read it. Crazy parent.
Oh, he was a pastor.
No. Mr. Glenn was an experienced teacher and pastoral leader. No! You gotta be kidding me. This satire. This can't be real. This is a satire site, right? Is this April 1st? No.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's not. Mr. Glenn was an experienced teacher and pastoral leader who would have been expected to lead an overseas trip safely. He did this overseas? What the fuck? And would have
Okay.
been well aware of the context expected of him. It added there was no malice or sexual intent in taking the students to the lap. What? Is this a joke site? No way. It added there was no malice or sexual intent in taking the students to a lap dancing club.
Of course not. It was completely educational. Learn about the culture.
I can't believe this is real. Glenn said he couldn't remember what happened because of how drunk he was, but oh god, that's a quote. But didn't I'm
I can't remember.
I'm gonna highlight this one more time. 3 years. It's banned from teaching for 3 years. Glenn said he couldn't remember what had happened because of how drunk he was, but did not dispute the recollection of those present. After 3 years have elapsed, Glenn will need to apply for the ban to be lifted.
Okay, so it could be longer from 3 years.
No,
He just has to.
This is justice right here. This is justice that this man, who is definitely British, like you pointed out, gets to reapply for teaching in 3 years.
They must have a shortage of teachers over there.
Must be. God damn.
I do hear about these sorts of things on because it sounds like this was on some sort of student body trip, you know, and I always hear about some teachers kind of taking, some liberties and taking some kids out maybe where they shouldn't be or drinking more than they should.
Drinking more than they're kids. Drinking more than they should is one drink.
Well, what the chaperones?
With the chaperones is one drink.
Well, the chaperones are drinking more than
The
they
chaperones are drinking.
should.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, actually that's true because I have a friend who is a coach, and when he goes on like out of state trips with his team, he definitely drinks too much, even though he knows he's the official chaperone for those kids.
My football coaches, they used to do a training camp in Washington State for football season every year, and they actually got banned from doing that because they got so drunk one night they they took out some golf carts out onto the golf course and started ripping up the place. I don't know the exact story, but enough to cause some concern. So they had to start going to Oregon State for training camp after that.
Do you know what was one of my most surreal moments in my life? I think when I was 21 or 22, I went to Walrus's high school reunion.
You went with the Walrus to his high school reunion?
The after party. I didn't go to the actual reunion, but I went to an after party at the Float, the bar in where we're from. And a lot of the people there around the Walrus's age, one of them was my old math teacher. Literally, this is my math teacher, and I'm doing shots with my math teacher. It felt weird.
It is kind of like a surreal thing that does happen quite a bit after you kind of graduate and move on, is you start to learn just kind of how it is with your parents, that your teachers are human too.
You start seeing, yeah, exactly. The authority figures of your youth become just more fully fleshed out human beings, and you realize that they're flawed.
Hmm.
And like one of their flaws, yeah, I mean they're just real people. They drink. You don't see
Yeah,
that when
yeah.
you're going to school. I think I told you.
Yeah,
I think I told you one of the most surreal, another one of the most surreal moments growing up, or after I was 18 and learned that my dad actually smoked marijuana, and I had no idea. I
yeah, it would have completely blown your mind. Do you think it would have changed you if you'd known earlier in your life?
I probably would have thought drugs weren't that bad. I thought
Yeah.
growing up, I definitely thought drugs were bad. I mean, I know now that they're not that bad. I mean, it depends on which drug and how much and who you are. But
Yeah.
I definitely, if I had known my dad was smoking marijuana and he was just what he does, um, I probably would have just probably experimented when I was younger.
You tried to experiment maybe more than you had before.
Sure, and I actually think that's actually probably positive that he kept it from me too, because I don't think that youth need to be doing drugs. I think once your mind is more fully formed, you can do drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have heard of
None.
the negative effects of marijuana, habitual use of marijuana on developing minds. It can actually
Yeah, I've heard
severely.
that same thing. It can speed up schizophrenia, right? For
Well,
those prone to it,
that's
right?
one part, but the bigger part I was talking about is actually can hurt your overall IQ. So a
Really?
marijuana smoker, a habitual marijuana smoker can affect your IQ somewhere between like anywhere between 7 to 10 points. Habitual
That's
use.
that's no small amount.
It's not small amount. So like it may not be a small amount if you're like genius level IQs or whatever or a high level IQ, but imagine you're just a regular person, 100 IQ. Well, the difference between
Hmm.
100 and 91, big difference. Yeah, actually, it stunts a forming brain, and that's not good. But a fully formed brain, yeah, I don't see any problem with someone smoking marijuana. I don't.
I don't, if I had kids that were maybe like 15, 16, I wouldn't discourage them from trying it. Certainly want to know about it, but I don't think I would stop them.
I think the key is just to be honest with them.
Hmm.
Don't lie about marijuana. Don't tell them that like this is the worst thing you'll ever do. It'll ruin your life. Honestly, I think South Park had the best message I've ever heard for marijuana. Like to discourage kids from doing marijuana. And there was an episode where they basically just said to the kids, "Listen, the problem with marijuana is it just makes you okay with being bored. And that's the time when you're bored is when you should be learning to do a new thing, a new skill, or learn a new craft, or to learn something, or to do something great. And you're just okay with sitting in your basement, not doing anything."
Yeah, being bored is supposed to be the most um, being bored in your life is supposed to be the way to lead to creativity, because that's why we have boredom, is to kind of, I don't know, inspire you to be more creative, I guess.
Yeah, like boredom will get you out of your monotony and try something new or try something different.
Hmm.
I'll tell you what I did today. I did wood carving. It didn't turn out well at all. It was terrible. I didn't.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't have an idea of what I was going to be carving in the first place. I just sort of just went at it with an angle grinder and a chainsaw.
Sounds like me when I'm cooking. Just kind of go after it.
Yeah, and at a certain point, I thought it looked like Yoda, so I said, "Let's make it look into Yoda." But then I gave up on that because I don't know what Yoda looks like. So
But you started this because you were bored.
mostly, I'd like to do more wood carvings. If I practice at it enough, maybe I could one day be good at it. And you just gotta
Hmm.
have to take your lumps, suck at something, and then one day be good at it.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. We have maybe a little bit time for our last story because then we got to call it quits because I got dinner on the way. Italian hospital employee accused of skipping work for 15 years. Initial thoughts.
I've heard of this before. This has happened in other scenarios where people have been collecting paychecks for a number of years and then they realize that this person hasn't been working.
Do you know the movie the movie Office Space?
Yeah.
So there's the one character. Shit, I'm forgetting his name. The squirrely guy.
Yeah, Stephen Root.
Yeah, Stephen
The
Root's
actor.
character. Yeah. Glad you remember the actor's name. I can't remember the character's name. But like the joke of his character is that he was let go years ago, but no one told him, so he kept coming to work, and they kept giving him a paycheck for whatever reason. But that's what I kind of thought of as soon as I heard this headline. Except this guy hasn't been coming into work, so.
Yeah, it's kind of almost the opposite.
Yes. A hospital employee in Italy has been accused of skipping work on full pay for the last 15 years, local media report. The man is alleged to have stopped turning up to work at, the Ciascio Hospital in the southern city of Catanzaro in 2005. He's now being investigated for fraud, extortion, and abuse of office. Italian news agency ANSA reports.
Paid a good amount, maybe not that much for 15 years of work. Is it nurse or doctor? And just an employee.
I don't know how much Italian healthcare you'd make. It's not like the United States where you think when you think healthcare, you think good paying job. I had an experience where like I was talking to my wife who has a friend in Portugal who's an engineer, and I found out how much they make, and it's not that much. Because when I think engineers, they're making 80,000 easy, 6 figures. And
Yeah.
And I heard that like this guy was making, I don't know, I can't remember the exact number, but it was less than $1,000 a month, really.
As a college graduate engineer.
Yeah.
Wow. It is kind of weird, the disparity between different fields across the world.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we always have kind of maybe more of a jaded perception just because, we're a pretty wealthy country.
Right.
And we don't really hear about how much other, people are making in their fields over, in South America or
Right. And
Europe or Asia.
We'll get more of that perspective probably next week if we bring on our future guest, because he was an engineer. He was an engineer in Venezuela, and he's making a lot more now as a small business owner, and he just sells kitchen appliances. Would you think an engineer
is more like a salesman than a?
I think he's more sales, yeah.
Okay.
And you would think an engineer is more valuable to society than a salesperson, right?
Oh hell yeah! They build infrastructure.
Right, exactly. But he's making more here than he was there.
I don't get it either. Was he making more as an engineer there compared to other people than?
Well, my wife was an engineer, and she wasn't making. I think she made more selling flowers in another country than she was making as an engineer. But we can bring that up with him when we talk to him, perhaps next week. So let's save that. But anyways, moving on. 6 managers at the hospital are also being investigated in connection with the alleged absenteeism. Right, because this couldn't have gone on without someone higher up looking into it, right?
Someone in middle management had to figure this out.
Middle management has a role, right? They're not just like useless. Everyone likes the joke that middle management is completely useless, right? And they are. But like
their one job.
Your one job is to know that your workers are coming in.
Your workers are working.
Workers are working, right? So they had to have known that this guy was not coming in for 15 years. The arrests are a result of a lengthy police investigation into absenteeism.
A lengthy police investigation.
Here's my lengthy police investigation. We show up at the hospital, we count who comes in. Hey, this guy hasn't come in a while. Why is he getting paid? Lengthy.
Yeah.
Sweet. Oh, he's not on vacation.
Investigate this.
I do know a lot of people, though, who like at the end of their career, they just take... I know so many people who never take a day off in their career, and at the end, they have all this stockpiled time off, and then they just retire early. So, well, they
So
don't
maybe
know.
this guy had 15 years worth of time off.
Maybe. Fuck it. I don't know how generous the whole time. And they always say in Europe, like, time off is way more generous than here. So maybe.
Yeah.
But
But still.
but still. The employee was a civil servant and was assigned a job in the hospital back in 2005. It was at this point he stopped going into work. He got the job and he stopped going in.
Wait, he got the job and stopped working for 15 years?
Sounds like a sweet deal to me.
Yeah.
The police have also accused him of threatening his manager to stop her from filing a disciplinary report against him. That doesn't seem like it should work.
He was threatening his manager.
Who wanted to
must
file?
have been against like physical, physically threatening her.
I don't know. What do you think? Like, if let's say you are an employee and your boss is going to write you up for not coming to work, and you threaten them, do you think you can get away with it? This guy must. I don't know. Was he like
Maybe
just, like,
in Italy,
dangerous?
maybe he had some mob connections.
Dude, you went with that because of Italy, didn't you?
Sure.
I have a friend who's like Italian, and I make that joke with him a lot.
Does he say it's accurate?
Yeah. If you're Italian, you have connections to the mob. All right. The manager later retired. Police added, and his ongoing absence is never noticed by her successor or human rights. That makes sense. Okay, so
That's how it happened.
yeah, so the original manager, he threatened her, saying, "I'm not going to come into work, and you're going to keep paying me." And she's scared. She leaves, and the next person who replaces her doesn't even know. Excuse me.
That this person isn't going to work.
That
'cause
this
he's never
person's on the
been since
payroll.
they've been.
It can make. I don't know. It depends on how they do their payroll system. If he's not even aware of the fact that like they're not coming into work.
That's what I think is going on here. Is that they have their sections of the hospital are too like accounting and the management is too separated that they don't really know what's going on.
All right. I don't know. I wanted to go to Italy, but now I don't.
But
No, this doesn't affect how I want to go to Italy.
would you rather go to Italy or Spain?
Ooh,
I
Italy.
think I'd rather go to Spain.
Really?
I
Spain
don't know,
over Italy?
I kind of waver between the two.
Oh, I'd definitely choose Italy. I mean, I'd still want to go to Spain one day, but like, Italy just sounds pretty amazing. Depends on like northern Italy with the Alps and southern Italy with all the great the vineyards and.
I think it's
Rome?
by far the most biodiverse country in Europe.
I'm curious. Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense. I'm curious though. Let's type. It's gonna be France. I know it is. Most tourists per country. Oh, God damn it!
Wow, Italy's not even on there.
It's France, Spain, United States, and China. I know
Why
it is.
France? Everyone's always disappointed.
Everyone hates France, but everyone still goes. The French know this. The French know that no one
They're
likes them.
extorting the world.
No, it's Paris. Paris is a beautiful city, apparently. Again, I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, I knew it was going to be France. It's the #1 tourist place in the world. All right. I'd choose Italy over France. I would fucking choose, like, I don't know, Libya over France. That might be exaggeration.
Libya? I don't know about
That
Libya.
might be exaggeration. How about this? I'll
Mostly
choose West
desert.
Virginia. I'll choose West Virginia over France.
West Virginia is beautiful.
What?
I've been.
You been there?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
The people are exactly like you think they'd be. But plus, they'll pay you $12,000 to move there and work remotely.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like, like Deliverance? You've seen Deliverance.
I can't recall if I have or not.
That's the banjos. The ding no 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 no.
Is that Deliverance?
Apparently not.
All
right.
I don't know.
I haven't been to West Virginia. I don't want to judge West Virginia. West Virginia was actually interesting. I did a little bit of research into this because everyone says like poverty leads to crime. West Virginia is the poorest state in the country, and it has relatively low crime. And I found that odd.
Maybe they just don't report a lot of crime.
That could be it. All right. Any last closing thoughts? I know I'm kind of a weird closing because I had more or
Do
less.
you know anyone that they could get away with this, you think, in America?
Not at my job. And they're pretty lax about attendance.
Yeah, especially at a hospital.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I'm sorry that I have to wrap this up pretty like abruptly because it just feels that way, but I got to get going. My dinner's probably at the door right now.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. So, anyways, this was a good talk. I know we a lot of it was about Houston, but we had some good other topics.
Yeah, some coming of age stories.
And and hopefully we'll be able to bring a guest on for next week. So for Tina and Karen do the tube, I am Karen.
This is Tina.
All right. Enjoy. Stay safe and stay hydrated. We love y'all.
Later.
Okay.